Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into a truly fascinating approach to fixing one of the absolute biggest challenges in business right now, employee burnout and retention. We're unpacking Dr. Valentina Cogliano's brilliant methodology, known as Work Atomic Habits, and more specifically, we're focusing on the A.S.A.P method. So if you've ever felt like standard corporate training just kinda isn't cutting it anymore, well, you're definitely in the right place.
Okay, let's kick things off with a pretty provocative question that really challenges the core of modern HR. Are you really retaining talent, or are you just slowing their departure? It's a question every leader needs to ask themselves. Are your retention strategies actually making people want to stay, or are they just putting a temporary Band-Aid on a much deeper wound, kind of just marginally delaying the inevitable day they walk out the door?
The modern workplace paradox feels a whole lot like an intensely knotted piece of rope. Companies are investing more money than ever before in training, development, and well-being, yet something just isn't adding up, is it? Despite all these resources, employees, especially millennials and Gen Z, still feel incredibly alone, undervalued, and just overwhelmingly knotted up and stressed.
So here's how we're going to logically untangle this mess today. We'll cover 1. The modern workplace paradox. 2. Enter the A.S.A.P method. 3. Phase 1. Assessment. 4. Phase 2, sensitivity. 5, Phase 3, awareness. And 6, Phase 4, proficiency. Let's jump right in.
All right, Section 1, the modern workplace paradox. Let's look at why standard corporate systems are failing us so spectacularly.
So, the absolutely crucial point here is that the typical fast-paced corporate feedback loop, it's fundamentally broken. Just think about the standard pattern for a second. Needs are identified through routine surveys or reports, right? Then, employees are told to attend standard face-to-face classes or, click through some e-learning module. But the process just stops there. It completely fails to transform into lasting, internalized learning. And the ultimate result? A widespread sense of disconnection that eventually hardens into long-term disillusionment and serious burnout.
I absolutely love this quote from Dr. Cogliano. People don't leave companies. They leave environments where they can no longer breathe. It perfectly diagnoses why standard retention strategies miss the mark. You can offer all the e-learning courses in the world, but if the fundamental environment feels suffocating, people are going to leave. It's about the air they breathe every single day at work, not some check-the-box training they complete once a quarter.
Which brings us to Section 2. Enter the A.S.A.P method. This is where we flip corporate urgency completely on its head.
Now check out this stark contrast. Traditionally, when we hear A.S.A.P, we think as soon as possible, right? It's a constant rush that literally just leads to content overload. But Dr. Cogliano redefines A.S.A.P as slow as possible. Instead of rushing, we are intentionally slowing down. The whole goal is to explore depth over speed, reducing the sheer volume of information to amplify real learning through tailored experiential training. So here's the roadmap for this method. Step 1, assessment. Step 2, sensitivity. Step 3, awareness. And Step 4, proficiency. These are the 4 procedural steps that guide an organization from dysfunction to authentic alignment. We're going to walk through each of these phases right now.
Let's start with Section 3, Phase 1, assessment.
Teams often look a lot like a tightly wound ball of rope. They hold on to unspoken stress, hidden tensions, and really complex dynamics. Before any intervention can even happen, these tightly wound layers have to be carefully observed. You can't just throw a training module at a ball of tension this tight and expect it to unravel all on its own.
Notice how the focus is entirely on deep, active listening. We're identifying both explicit and latent needs, mapping out operational and relational criticalities, assessing team dynamics and emotional stress levels, aligning expectations, and evaluating the readiness to actually change. Actually, scratch that idea of a simple survey. This involves structured, guided reflection with HR, leadership, and the team. It's about figuring out what people need before they even realize they need it.
Moving right along to Section 4, Phase 2, sensitivity. Let's see how assessment builds into actual team building. Take a look at this insight. Generation Z isn't looking for a job. Look for an experience that makes sense, and companies today are not designed to offer it. This highlights exactly why the sensitivity phase is non-negotiable. Modern workers are practically begging for meaning and authentic connection. Standard corporate structures just aren't built for that, so we have to actively create environments that satisfy this modern craving.
And to build that environment,
The A.S.A.P method uses an incredible 5-day immersive retreat called the Blue Senses program. It's here that the intertwined, stressed-out threads of the team finally begin to loosen. Through sensory experiences, relational patterns are brought to light. This is the exact moment when the group truly begins to perceive itself, and authentic, genuine connections start to emerge.
That takes us to Section 5, Phase 3, Awareness, anchoring those emotional experiences into daily reality.
Now, those diverse threads are weaving together harmoniously into a structured, interconnected pattern. Participants transition from simply feeling a breakthrough experience at a retreat to consciously understanding their behaviors and work habits. We are moving directly from lived awareness to applied awareness. So the absolute crucial takeaway here is that change becomes highly intentional. We're identifying recurring patterns, transforming insights into daily micro-actions, and defining concrete, measurable commitments. Throw in some guided journaling and personalized one-on-one support, and you are literally bridging the gap between an inspiring retreat and the reality of a busy Tuesday morning at the office.
And that leads us to this fantastic realization. The real problem is not retaining people. It's creating an environment where they want to stay. If you've done the heavy lifting in the awareness phase, you aren't trying to trap people at your company. You're cultivating an ecosystem they actively choose to be a part of every single day.
Which brings us to Section 6, Phase 4, Proficiency, where new habits become the permanent standard.
This perfectly illustrates the ultimate goal. All those disparate colored ropes finally weave together to form a collective organizational brain. The team is perfectly aligned, they're functioning with deep relational maturity, thinking, adapting, and operating as one unified, incredibly healthy organism. But of course, this doesn't happen overnight, right? Change only stabilizes if it's supported. That's why you engage in a structured 100-day consolidation phase, participating in periodic group sessions every 25 days. You're consolidating skills, strengthening mutual trust, and integrating new habits. This structured timeline is exactly what prevents the team from snapping back to their old, toxic patterns. And here is the ultimate payoff of the A.S.A.P method. Change is no longer an event, it becomes organizational identity. When you intentionally slow down and do this right, change isn't just another HR initiative. It transforms the very DNA of your company, creating a fundamentally healthier, self-sustaining entity. So, I'll leave you with this provocative question to ponder as you reflect on your own organizational journey. Who is the company you want to be? It's so easy to get caught up in the rush of automating, measuring, and constantly speeding things up. But when it comes to your people, sometimes you literally have to go as slow as possible to figure out who you really want to be. Think about the true cost of moving too fast. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I hope it gave you some powerful tools to untangle your own workplace.